Alright, back again, Luke here. And today we've got out the Sega Mega Gear, and I figured we could put in this game here. Tails Sky Patrol. So, let's pop this in and play some of that. Now, this game here is hard as nails. This is a game that is quite different than the Sonic games, if you've played those before and haven't tried this one. This is going to be a little bit of a surprise. We'll turn this on and let you see the intro. It's quite short, but... So all of those enemies that you saw there at the beginning, those are going to be the enemies that you have to kill at the end of each stage, or at the end of each area. But we'll jump into the game here and show you what it's like. This game is really, really hard, and it even gives you a training area. Now you'll notice this is a game that's on rails. It's basically pulling you to the right throughout the game. And there's a ring underneath Tails' feet here, and what this ring does is it attaches to items. You don't have to really do anything, you can just let it hang there. Anything you kind of walk over, it will attach to. Now, where this can be a good thing in some cases, can also be a really bad thing. You'll notice there's some arrows and stuff that are showing that will tell you to attach to them. And if you do attach to those areas, you'll wind up sometimes getting thrown into objects or thrown into other enemies. So we'll zoom out just a little bit more here, just to make it a little bit better. These bells here, these are the ones that will mark your halfway mark or areas where you can just kind of take a break. You'll notice your F meter up there. That is your food, and once that drops down, you automatically die, which we're probably going to do here just in a couple of seconds. Yep. So you can notice that you'll fall to the ground and die. The only way to keep that meter alive, or to keep it full, is to collect candies. And you'll see sometimes there'll be candies down here on the ground. You just walk over them and keep it full. Now, getting hit by enemies will also reduce that meter quite a bit. And sometimes these carts here, they will throw you into walls, etc. You just have to be very careful. The hardest part about this game is not only the fact that you lose life constantly, you're being thrown around in the game here, and one hit and you're gone. It's just you run into one thing and you're dead. Now you can get hit by sometimes enemies and they'll take away some life, but it'll spin Tails here out of control. And if he gets thrown into an object like a wall, he will die. It's definitely one of those games that takes a couple of times just to get used to in each stage, because you'll find yourself constantly dying. Going along here to pick up candies can be quite challenging as well. You'll see that there's some one-ups sometimes. There'll actually be some areas where you can get a protective shield around you, but this game is definitely one where you'll find yourself trying to push back on the D-pad as much as possible just to slow the screen down. Because if you press forward on it, you can go quicker, and you can go forward faster, but that's not exactly what you want to do here sometimes. Running into these things, these reproducing orbs, will instantly kill you as well, so just really got to be careful throughout this game. But knowing where you have to kind of jump, which areas you can grab hold of, which ones you can't, that's the end of the stage here, will help you throughout the game. And once again, it's something where you can learn over time. It's not something that you can just pick up when you first play it. It does take quite a few tries to get used to it. But yeah, it's not a game for everyone. And if you're used to the Sonic kind of fast-paced games, this is going to be a big surprise to you, because you try and go fast in this one and you will die. But by pressing the number 1 or number 2 button, you can throw out this. This is only useful for hitting enemies. It's not useful for basically anything else here. You'll notice you can't pick up the candies by just launching it out. You have to be right up next to it. But things like this, where you're just pulling back on the controller to try not to get thrown into an object or an enemy, can be hard. try and show you here. If I get hit by an enemy, you'll probably notice, see, I can kind of spin out of control, and as I'm tapping the button here, I'm trying to regain control. Yeah, and you'll notice there when I hit the that spiked ball, when I hit the middle part there, it spun it in reverse, so that's another thing you gotta be careful of. But it does have some good music, it does have some really creative points to it. But one of the things that I found extremely difficult about this is, you know, not only the fact that the areas are really hard, they're the ones that'll kill you a lot, but trying to figure out what is actually the real background and what is something you can go through. Because some areas look like you can just go right through them, other areas, or other walls and things look like they're stationary, but sometimes they trick you up and you can't go through some of the walls that look like they're just background. So, ew, come on. Sometimes you're gonna wanna go backwards, try and backtrack just a little bit so you can get some food. As you can see, we're probably gonna go down in a ball of fire here in a couple seconds. Because I don't, yep, there we go. But it instantly just throws you down if you don't have any food. And that's something that you can't help, but... The bosses in this game are quite easy, to be honest. They're not that difficult at all. But you'll find yourself, more often than not, just dying throughout the stages here, if anything. Because they're the most difficult. Trying to remember where the food is, too, is quite a challenge. You'll notice in some areas too, if you don't get the get your hook or your hoop on some areas quick enough, you'll wind up dying. Like these kind of areas here, if you go straight, oh, get off, yep, and it threw me into a wall. So it's a hard game, and like I said, the stage is probably the worst part about it. The bosses, not too bad. We'll get up to the boss. I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't be able to, unless I keep just running into walls. Try and see if we can go through this a bit quicker here. But a game that will test your patience quite a bit. You'll find yourself just going, "Ah!" and screaming. Like, how did that happen? You know, he should have hooked onto that, or, you know. But in some areas, you just really got to be careful, because this right here too, knowing when to dismount, if you follow that all the way to the ground, you'll die. It'll instantly kill you, so. So knowing when to speed up, when to slow down. We're coming up on our boss here, I think. Yeah. So you just want to keep pummeling these bosses here. Give them a little bit of space, but not too much, because they do throw items at you that will explode or that will chase you, or so. And they do take a dozen hits just to get through. Ah! I ran out of life. Jeez! We'll get him. We'll get him this time. But they take a ton of hits. The enemies just seem to be endless when it comes down to hits, but once you finally do get them, then you'll drag them behind you, which is kind of cool. Come on. You gotta watch out too, because if you get too close to them, you'll wind up getting hit. So, there we go. And he grabs them, he drags them along. But nonetheless, just want to share with you guys a little bit of a look at what Tails Sky Patrol here looks like for the Sega Game Gear. And once again, it's not a game for everyone. It's one that will take time to get used to. And it does have some cool stages, some cool designs to it, but it is a hard game that requires a bit of thinking and good timing in order to get through it. But that's about all for me for right now. Like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching. Watching some Tails destruction here. Ugh. You'll notice this will bounce you off just a couple of times, so it protects you from dying. because normally if you go into that wall you'll be dead. This stage is particularly difficult to figure out, like, what is part of the background, what's part of the foreground, what's something you can get hit with and not. You'll see it'll become more apparent here later on. Ah, I didn't get that. Jeez. It's because I launched this out here. Like right here, these rocks down below, if you touch them, you're dead, so... ourselves a 1-up. And if you touch that wall there, you're dead, so... This part is a pain. Yep. Ah! See if we can do this a bit better this time. I'm staying closer to the bottom wall. There we go. Need food. Yeah, we're dead. Gotta love it. Whee! Guess we'll play until we have to continue. So these background here, I mean, it's difficult to tell. Okay, is that something I can go into or not? First time you play it, you're like, oh great, I'm gonna die again, so... Get off of me! Some candy there. These things will attach to you and kill you. They'll just kind of keep you in one place, so... Coming up on our second boss, I think, quite soon. With these walls here, if you hit the yellow parts, you'll wind up destroying it instantly. So... should be coming up close to our boss here. There we go. This guy's not too bad at all. Just let him get away from me a little bit. But... get up there. We'll get him. Come on. There we go. Whee! We did it! Yeah, if you stuck on this long, thanks again, and talk to you guys here soon. Whee! This stage is extremely hard. This area is quite dangerous. Woo. Oh, I went the wrong way. Ah! Doodle-doo. There we go. See ya.